Well, hello everyone. It's amazing to be here. I'm really honored to be taking part in BBELT again. This is the fourth time I've taken part in this event, and second time I've been one of the plenary speakers. So I'm very grateful to the British Council for this opportunity, and I really hope that you find the session useful. As you can see in the title, I'm going to be focusing on the use of AI, but I'm going to be doing everything live. So fingers crossed it all behaves itself properly and works. I'll be looking at different ways of using AI tools for promoting all four skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. I'm also going to add in some ideas around assessment as well. For those people that haven't seen me before, my name is Joe Dell, as you can see on the slide. I'm a former languages teacher. I taught French for 13 years, 3 years at secondary school level and then 10 years at middle school level, working with 9 to 13-year-olds. So I've got upper primary and secondary school experience. And for the last 15, 16 years now, I've been an independent languages consultant, and before the pandemic, before Brexit as well, I was traveling all over the world, running training and speaking at conferences in places like Australia, North America, South America, the Middle East, all over Europe, and in the UK as well, of course. But more recently, I've been doing most of my work online. So it's really lovely to be with everyone virtually in today's session. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on. And as an introduction, obviously, we all know about AI now. AI is becoming part and parcel of our daily life, even if we don't want it to be. That is certainly the case. And so as an introduction, I just wanted to talk about the idea behind how AI can be used in education, in particular, how it's important that we need to keep the human in the loop, this idea of the 80-20 rule. In other words, if you're using AI, AI could be doing, say, 80% of the work, but that 20% from the human is really, really important as a way of being able to edit, as a way of being able to recognize bias or inaccuracies, because AI can hallucinate, which I'm sure you've heard many times before. And so that's very, very important. We can't just presume that everything that a large language model produces will be accurate or unbiased in some way whatsoever. So that's incredibly important that we bear that in mind. From the point of view of personalizing learning, as I'll be demonstrating today, you can see that AI can really help tailor materials to individual student needs. You could, for example, ask the AI to produce a text with the names of your students potentially, or the names of people who are famous that you know that your students like. I think it's also important that we're careful about personal information we put into a large language model, particularly if the students are doing this, because of the fact that anything that's put into a large language model will be sent to train the bot. So we need to keep that in mind from the point of view of responsible use. But most of what I'm going to be focusing on today is how we can use AI as a way of creating resources more quickly and easily. And I really hope that everything works and that you find the suggestions useful. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to start off with Suno. So Suno is an AI tool which allows you to generate your own customized song. So you can see that on my different slides, I've used ChatGPT to generate the different AI images, which, as we all know, mean that they're royalty free. So you are able to create bespoke images very easily using a variety of different AI tools. And so that's why I've generated the image on the right hand side. But looking at Suno in particular, we can use it for generating bespoke songs. We can use it for encouraging active listening, encouraging independent learning, helping with pronunciation, and so on and so forth. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to ChatGPT, which I've got open here. You could use another large language model for this instead if you wanted to. And I'm going to put in the following prompt, which I've got here, which, as you can see, is write a basic song in A1 level English describing a morning routine, include vocabulary such as, first I wake up at 7 a.m. in my bedroom, then I go into the bathroom, have a shower and get dressed. Next, I go downstairs and have breakfast in the kitchen. I eat cereal. Finally, I brush my teeth, comb my hair and leave the house around 8 a.m. So classic sort of daily routine type of vocabulary. So let's see what ChatGPT comes up with when I send this in. And so in no time at all, there we are. So it's producing what it's calling my morning song. Clearly, if you wanted to spend more time on this, you could edit it as you see fit. But let's just see what it produces the first time. This looks fine to me. But if there were certain words that you wanted to change or you wanted to edit, you could easily do that. But as we're doing this all live, then I think it's best that we just go with the first version. Okay, so we've got various verses, various choruses. And so let's wait for this to finish generating. That's great. And once we've got our lyrics, we can then copy these. So if I copy this right now, actually, we don't need that last line. There we are. So I'm going to copy this right now. And now I'm going to go into Suno. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if I go here, I'm just going to very quickly stop sharing a second, because what I want to do is I want to go and share full screen. So if I go present, share screen, and I'm going to share the entire screen this time. So like this. Oh, hang on. Let me just do that again. Sorry, my apologies. I'm going to share screen because I need to share the audio as well. There we are. That's all fine. Entire screen and perfect. Right. So now the reason I've done that is because with Suno, for some reason, Suno is not allowing me to. It's not allowing me to load in Chrome. Can I just check if everyone can see my screen? If you can see Suno right now. Hopefully that's working okay. If I click on where it says custom, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in the lyrics like this. And as you can see, the lyrics which we've just generated in ChatGPT are all there. And I'm going to come up with a style of music. I'm going to put in folk as a style. And then here under enter title, I'm going to call it My Morning Song. And then I'm going to click create. And then what it's going to do is it's going to generate two versions of my song. And I can then choose which one I like. And you'll then be able to hear it back in a second. So there we are. It's done it already. So this is the first version. And by choosing custom, what it allows you to do is it allows you to put in your own lyrics. If you don't do that, you can generate a song, but you won't have control over the lyrics that you're then inputting. So if I now click here, you should be able to hear what this sounds like. And we'll press play and away we go.
First I wake up at 7 a.m. In my bedroom I stretch again. I get out of bed and rub my eyes. A brand new day. Hello, sunshine. Wake.
Okay, so I'm sure you'll agree that's pretty amazing. Now you can also download the particular tracks that you've made. All you have to do is click on the three dots in the player, bottom right. Go to where it says download, and you can download your song as an MP3 file. Now, it's important to say that if you use this tool, you have to be 18 plus. You can't get your students to use this tool unless they are over 18. But the songs that you produce, you certainly can use those with students. It's just that you can't get the students to create their own song. So I'm going to now share again. There we are. So I can go back to the tab option. I just wanted to show you Suno. So I'm hoping that all worked fine. And that's given you a flavor of how you can use Suno in the classroom to generate your own customized songs. You can choose the vocabulary, the grammar that you're focusing on in the particular song. And then you get this really nice, authentic sounding voice, I think, with the music in the background. It's all royalty free. You're allowed to use this for educational purposes, and a great way of promoting independent learning. Okay, so let's carry on, and we'll go on to the next idea. So that was listening. We're now going to look at speaking, and with speaking, we're going to look at a tool called Mizou, which allows you to make your own chatbot. And there's the website we're looking at is mizou.com/education. It so happens I've got it here. And I've already created an account. I've got a Google account. with this. These are some chatbots that I've created previously. So I'm going to create a chatbot right now. So I click build a chatbot. I go to where it says AI generated, like this. And then we'll just wait for that to launch. There we are. And then from here, I'm going to put in the following objective, which is the following, which is: you are Peter, an English waiter in a cafe. My students will practice ordering food and drinks from you. They're working A2 level English. Reply in short, simple sentences. Always be kind and polite. So that's my prompt. And I'm now going to choose the grade level. I'm going to choose grade 8. So that's sort of around 14 years old. I then choose get ideas. And what will happen is Mizou will generate 3 different ideas. And I choose one of them. I'm going to go for this one. You'll notice it says practice with a C because it's American English. And once I've chosen the chatbot I want to create, it's now going to generate a picture for me. Now, if you don't like the picture, you can always change it. What you do is you click on the little pencil tool and you put in another prompt to generate another picture. Let's just see what it looks like. Yeah, so if I wanted to change that one, I would click on here, and then I could either upload my own image, but of course you need to respect copyright if you do that. I'm now going to write a typical English waiter, whatever that means. Let's click. In fact, because I'm going to choose the male voice. I'm going to say a typical male English waiter. Then I click generate, and now we're going to see in a moment what Peter is going to look like, which is always very exciting. So you could do this as many times as you need to until you've got the right image that you want. Or if you prefer, you could use, let's say, ChatGPT to generate an image and then upload it instead. There we are. I'm very happy with that. Then I've got the more options option. So I can then go through this. I can just click on generate all fields to save time. And as you can see, you then have the welcome message. You've got the rules. You can change those as well if you wanted to. You've got the knowledge file option, which means you can upload a PDF, for example, of your exam spec, which should then give you give the large language model a better idea of what it is that you're looking for. You also get a thumbnail, which is generated automatically. And finally, you choose your subject. So I'm going to go for English language arts. If you're teaching other languages, you would go for foreign languages. And then from there, what you do is you click. Before I do that, you need to make sure that your the name of your bot is unique. So I'm going to call mine ordering that at the cafe BBELT 2025. Otherwise, you get an error message saying that your title has already been taken. So that's why you have to customize it further so it's unique. So as a result of that, we now get this page coming up. And from there, what we can do is I can then click new session like this. And I can then click launch like this. So we'll just wait for the next page to come up. And then as a result of that, I'll then be able to show you the student view of what the students would see. Right, here we are. So as a result of that, there we are. Can you see? We've got this now, this login option for the students. So I'm now going to go to Microsoft Edge, and I'm going to paste in the link like that. And I'm also going to go full screen again. So I'm going to present, share screen, and this time I'm going to go for the entire screen. And there we are, and click share. So you should now be able to see Mizou. You should be able to see that. So this is the student view. I'm going to pretend to be a student here, and I'm going to click start session, having put my name in like this. And it's now going to open the session. So this is what the student would see if they were taking part in an interaction, practicing their speaking with the chatbot. So let's have a quick listen to Peter's message.
Welcome to our cafe. I'm Peter, your waiter. How can I help you today? Would you like to order some food or drinks?
Okay, I can then respond. I could either write my message or I can use the microphone. So I click on the microphone option. I allow my microphone to be accessed like this. Hello, Peter. Can I have a coffee and a cheese sandwich, please? I then send in my audio. It's transcribed. Hello, Peter. Can I have a coffee and a cheese sandwich, please? Okay, I can click the delete button if I want to try again. But as soon as I click the tick, it will transcribe very accurately, as you can see, and then you send it in, and then Peter can then respond. Here we go. So I can listen back to Peter's reply.
Of course, Joe. A coffee and a cheese sandwich coming right up. Would you like your coffee black, or do you want cream and sugar with it?
So I'm going to reply to that. Can I have a white coffee, and with my cheese sandwich, could I have some salad as well? See what Peter says this time.
Absolutely. A white coffee and a cheese sandwich with salad. That sounds great. Would you like any dressing on your salad?
Okay, so you get the idea, and then I'm going to be a bit silly to finish off with, so I'm going to say the following. No dressing, thank you, Peter. The problem is I don't have any money. Sorry about that. Let's see how Peter replies, if he replies in an authentic way. Oh, he's saying that's okay. Wow, that's good. No need to worry.
That's okay, Joe. No need to worry. If you're not ready to order, you can always come back later when you have money. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or ask while you're here?
Now, the reason that Peter's replied in that way is because in the background, the coders that have created this have put in what are called guardrails to make sure that the chatbot is behaving as if it were a teacher, if you like. So although you're trying to replicate an authentic situation, in this case, the waiter is not going to be sort of angry with you, as it were, because essentially it's trying to support you for you to use as much language as possible rather than being an actual real situation. So that's pretty amazing, I think. Now, if I click end session like this and I click skip like that, there we are. Then the session is now ended for Mizou from the student point of view. And then what I can do once that's finished loading is I can then go back to show you the teacher view instead. If I'm going to do that right now, so I click here, and then I'm going to go back to just showing my tab. So I click share screen. There we are. Perfect. And now you can see this. And if I go back to Mizou and share this tab instead, and I then refresh the page, then what will happen is you'll be able to see. There we are. Can you see? You can see that my contribution as a student has now appeared here. So what I can do is I can click on this. There we are. And I get to see the whole transcript, which obviously from a teacher point of view is really brilliant. So it means that you can see the transcripts of all the interactions that all your students have done in a particular session. You can do up to 50 participants in a session per day, which is great. And in addition to that, you can listen to all the audio that the students have recorded like this. Hello, Peter. Can I have a coffee and a cheese sandwich, please? There we are, like that. And you even get feedback as well, which has been generated from the transcript. So you can see here that I got an A grade, and the feedback is the student engaged in a polite and coherent conversation with the chatbot, following the instructions and responding appropriately to the questions, answers, etc., etc. So that's just fantastic. And I honestly think, hand on heart, this is one of the best tools out there for practicing speaking, and it is GDPR compliant as well, which is wonderful to see, which if you look at the privacy policy and the terms and conditions, it's made very, very clear that is the case. Okay, so that was that one. That was Mizou. So now I'm going to go back to my presentation, and I'll be now looking at how we can use AI for reading. So here what we're going to do is we're going to look at Google Translate, but we're going to look at a feature which maybe a lot of you don't know about, which is the fact that you can make personalized phrasebooks within Google Translate. So to do that, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to put in the following. which is write 5 sentences in A1 level Spanish describing opinions about sport and leisure activities. So I'm going to send that in right now. It's now going to, oh, okay. Sometimes it does this. It gives you 2 responses and you can choose your favorite one. So I'm going to choose this one. So I'm going to copy that like that. But I don't need to copy the whole thing. I'm going to do it sentence by sentence. So I'm going to copy that. I'm now going to go into Google Translate, which is here, and I'm going to paste in the sentence. And as you can see now, I've got my English translation. So I've got my Spanish and my English. So let's imagine you wanted to say something, you could, but you didn't know how to say it in English. You could write that in Spanish, and then you see the English, which allows you to read the English translation and familiarize yourself with the new vocabulary, etc., the grammar that you're learning. Now, the key here, as you can see here, it says build your own phrasebook, and how you do that is the following. You can click on the little star option there, which means it appears here. And the reason that's appeared there is because you've clicked on this little option here. Can you see the saved option? So you click on here to add it to the saved area. You then click here, and then it's now appeared here. And you can listen back to the pronunciation like this.
I like football because it's fun.
Okay, and then we could do another one. We could do, say, another sentence like this. Okay, so I've just copied that. I then go back to Google Translate, and we get rid of this one, and then we paste in the translation. So as you can see, you can do this on any Google account. You do need to have a Google account for this, but you could sign in on any device, and it would allow you to create your own personalized phrasebook like this. So now I've added this one. I'll do one more like this. Okay, copy. Get rid of that. And I just think this is a fantastic way of encouraging independence. We can also listen back to the audio like this again. Another way of doing this.
I love reading books because it is relaxing.
Okay, the model of pronunciation is pretty good. I think it's certainly workable. Okay, and then if you wanted to add your voice to this, what you could do is you could say, "Me gusta jugar al fútbol." Okay, and then you would then get, "I like to play football." Okay, and then you click here so you can practice your speaking as well. And there we are. Now, the next killer feature, I think, is you click on the little icon here, which is to export to Google Sheets. Okay, so there we are. That's what it looks like. You then click on import the data like that. That will then generate a Google Sheet like this. There it is. And then what we can do is we can click on the D column like this. I could right click this, and I like this. Let's do that again and click copy. And then there's various tools which allow you to do text to speech. But the one I'm going to show you right now is in Padlet, which is completely free to use. You can only have 3 Padlets for free, but what I'm going to show you right now will work completely for free. Okay, so all you do now is you go to blank board like this. And then that should generate, there we are. It's now making my Padlet for me. That took a little bit of time. The beauty of doing these things live. So it's going to make a Padlet for me. And then once it's made that Padlet, I can obviously do things like change the background, etc. But that doesn't actually matter particularly. I could just leave it as it is. But what I'm going to do now is double click on the screen. And then I don't even have to give it a title. I just need to click on the +13 option and go to where it says AI speech like this. I'm now going to paste in the text like that. And I've used too many characters. That's the problem. Okay, so let's go back to here. And what I'm going to do is, let's just make that a bit bigger. There we are. Let's copy just these 3 lines. Okay, so if I copy that, go back to my Padlet, there we are. And then I'm going to paste in, there we are. So I've got my, let's say 3 lines. And, oh, I still, hang on, that's interesting. Let me just do this again, because it's saying I've used too many characters, which doesn't seem to be correct. So let me just try that again. Yeah, that's fine. So as you can see there, I've used 123 characters out of a possible 1,000. So you can essentially fill the whole box if you want to. It's automatically recognized the language. As you can see there, it's got English UK. We could go down and find all the other languages here. Let's go for English UK. So it decided on English US, but I'm going to choose English UK. You then click next. It's now going to generate the audio for me, and it sounds like this.
I love reading books because it is relaxing. I don't like to swim because it's difficult. I like football because it's fun.
There we are. Now, if you want to go to a slower speed, you click on the 3 dots, you click playback speed, and you go for, say, 0.75, and listen again.
I love reading books because it is relaxing. I don't like to...
etc. And then once you're happy with that, you click save, then you click publish. And having done that, if you press play again here, so it says that, but actually, let's just try again. There we are.
I love reading books because it is
so that's fine. But now, can you see you've got the little download icon? So I can click download.
I love reading books because it is relaxing. I don't like to swim because it's difficult. I like football because it's fun.
And I can now download that audio file as I just did just then. So there we are. That's how you can use Google Translate to create your own personalized phrasebook, and how you can then generate a audio version of those phrases that you've chosen individually as a student, as a way of helping you with your reading, your listening, and your speaking. And what a great way of using AI, I think, for promoting autonomy in our students, which is just great. So that was Google Translate and creating your own personalized phrasebooks. Okay, there are other TTS engines out there, text-to-speech engines such as TTS MP3. There's one called 11 Labs as well, etc. But I particularly like the Padlet option, and it's completely free to use. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at Brisk Boost Tutor for instant feedback. So with that in mind, I'm going to go to this tab like this, and this is my activity. And I've got Brisk installed here. If you haven't seen Brisk before, then I will very quickly show you what that looks like. So it's called Brisk Teaching. And you just need to install it. You need to have a Google account to install it. And once you've done that, you've given permission for it to access your Google Drive. Then you're good to go. It is GDPR compliant as well, which is great. So this is the activity which I have set up. And because I've got Brisk Teaching installed, that's why this little icon is here. So what I'm going to do now is click here. And then I'm going to click Boost Student Activity like this. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the Engage option and choose Tutor. And so from here, as you can see, it says create a tutoring activity about this document. Okay. I could put in more detail about this, but that's fine for now. And I click Next. Like that, and then I will then choose Brisket. I'm just going to go with the recommended option, which is to create a view-only access to this document from the student point of view. So I now click Brisket like this, and so that should now come up. There we are, and it's now preparing my activity. And essentially what this is doing is it's allowing me to give students access to an individual chatbot to help them with their writing, which is just brilliant. So let me demonstrate how this works. So I would give the link to the students via, say, Google Classroom. I could create my own classes if I wanted to as well. But for now, I'm just going to click on Preview and Edit like that. And then you click Let's Go here. Okay, so as you can see, that's the task. And then here's the chatbots giving me a welcome message. I can click here and I can see what it is that I want the students to do. And then from there, what I can do is I can then start writing. So I could then say, what parts of your morning routine do you want? So I'm going to then say, I wake up at 7 a.m. But I want to use an adverb. So I'm going to say first, because that's what I've been asked to do, and then send that in and then see what Brisk says. So each student would have their own chatbot, and they could interact with you. So you choose the assignment, and then each student can independently get support from the chatbot. Okay. And as I said, this is GDPR compliant. Okay. So, right. So after I've woken up, I could then say, then I go to the bathroom, have a shower, and get dressed. Okay, I could then send that in. See what it says. There we are. So it's being very positive at the moment. What do you do after you get dressed? So I could then say next. I go downstairs and have my breakfast in the kitchen. Okay, you can use the microphone as well if you want to dictate this, but obviously we're looking at writing right now. And I find you can only do one sentence at a time that way as well. So what do you do after you've had your breakfast? And then I can then say, finally, I comb my hair and go to school around 8 a.m. and then send that in. Okay, so now it's going to give me some further feedback. There we are. That's great. Now it's asking me to put it all together. Can you see that's now gone across there because I've completed some of the activities and incorporate at least 3 sequencing words, e.g. first, then after that, initially, etc. So now what I can do is I can write the whole thing out very quickly. So I could say, for example, first I wake up at 7 a.m. Then I go to the bathroom, have a shower and get dressed. Next, I go downstairs and have breakfast in the kitchen. Finally, I comb my hair and go to school around 8 a.m. Okay, so hopefully that's allowed me to fulfill the objectives. And that's probably around 50 words. Good effort. You've got a nice structure, but let's check the word count. Can you count the words in this paragraph? Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. Okay, so maybe I'm not quite there with 50. So I could obviously add to this, and then the learning objectives meter would then go right to the end. So hopefully that's giving you an indication of how this works. And once you've previewed this, you just click share with students like this, and then that will generate the link that you can use to share. There we are, the QR code and the link that you share with the students, and then they can all get individual support on their writing. So I think that's really, really exciting, I must say. So there we are. That was AI for writing, Brisk Boost Tutor for instant feedback. Right, let's carry on. The next thing we're going to look at now is we're going to look at how we can use Brisk for creating quizzes. And what I thought I would do is show you this YouTube clip, which is from the British Council. And here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Brisk option, and I'm going to click Create. Like this, okay? And then I click quiz. And then here I choose what I want, which is quiz. I choose the language. You can see you've got lots of different languages here. I'm going to choose English. I'm going to go for 7th grade, multiple choice, 10 questions. So create a quiz about this YouTube video, okay? So then I click next. Then I'm going to choose the new form option, and I choose Brisket like this. And what that's going to do is it's going to harness the transcript from the YouTube clip, and it's going to generate, I'm hoping in a moment, it's going to generate a brand new Google quiz for me, which it's doing right now. So I'm just going to wait for this to appear. And what it does is it looks at the transcript, it generates the 10 questions from the transcript, and it works out what the correct answer is as well. There we are. Can you see? So that's all worked perfectly. And not only has it created those quizzes, it's also said what the correct answer is. Can you see? So the one with the tick next to it is the correct answer. Now, if you go back to the video, and if I go to where it says share and copy, and I go back to my quiz, which I've just generated, what I can do is click on the add video option like this. Okay, I then paste in the link, which I've just copied. And then here it is. I then click on that and click insert. And now my video is there, and then I could then say, for example, watch the video and answer the questions. Perfect. And then I could then make sure that's at the top, which is what it needs to be. So I could drag up to the top, and now we're now good to go. So the students watch the video and answer the questions. You need to check for accuracy, make sure that everything's been spelt correctly and that the correct answer is in fact the correct answer. But once you've done that, you just need to click published and click copy responder link. You then share that with the students. They then fill in the quiz, and all the answers will then appear in the responses area, which is going to be here. Now, if you want to do the same thing for using Microsoft quizzes, what you can do is you can go back to the video like this. Okay, and this time I can click on here, and I'm going to click create and quiz. And this time I'm going to use a particular prompt, which will help with making sure that, oh, that's interesting. Let's just try that again. There we are. And so I'm going to choose the one that says Microsoft quiz from Brisk. So this is a prompt which I've created, which essentially says create 10 multiple choice questions about this video following the following format. So this is the format that you need for Microsoft quizzes. Okay. So there we are. So I then click next. And this time I'm going to choose the new doc option and choose Brisket. So that will now generate a Google Doc for me, which it's doing right now. So it should stop. It should say stop generating in a moment, and we should see. Yeah, can you see? So it's making the quiz for me, but it's following that format that I need for generating a Microsoft quiz. So you would need to have a Google account to do this, but if you're working in a Microsoft environment, this is a quicker way of generating your Microsoft quizzes for you if you're a fan of that particular medium. Okay, so I've done that now. That's great. And then from there, what I can do is, again, just check everything from an accuracy point of view. And from there, I could then give the title here. I could change the title if I wanted to. And then you click File, and you click Download, and you choose Microsoft Word like this. So I'm now going to download this Microsoft Word document. Having done that, I then go to Microsoft Forms, which I've got here. And clearly, I need to have an Office 365 account for this, but in Forms, you click on the quick import option. You then click here where it says upload from this device. And then I choose the Microsoft Word document, click open, then I choose quiz. It will then convert that Word document, which has been correctly formatted, into a Microsoft quiz. And as a result of that, I can then share that with the students. So I click now Start Review like this. Okay. And so now it's going to load up the form. There we are. If this happens, what you can do is click the three dots like this and click on Remove Section and Just Section like that. So again, if I wanted to, I could change the title of this. That's fine. And if I wanted to add the video, what I would do is I would click here and I would click Insert New Question like this. And I choose the text option like that. I then go back to my YouTube clip like this, and I do exactly the same thing as I did before. I click the share option and click copy. I then go back to my quiz like this, and then I click on the little icon here, which allows me to click insert video, and then I paste in the URL like that and click add. There we are. Now I make this go to the top, and then the question could be, as before, watch the video and answer the questions. Okay, now having done that, you can see that I've got a tick next to each next to the correct answer, but what I need to do is I need to add a point. So you do need to do that manually. So I would just go through, add a point for each question, etc. Once I've done that, I then click collect responses like this. Anyone can respond. And then I would then copy the link, share it with the students in the way that I showed you a moment ago with Google quizzes. And then the students will fill in the Microsoft quiz, and all the answers will appear in the form. And you can then export the results as an Excel spreadsheet, and the equivalent in Google quizzes, you can export as a Google sheet. And there we are. That's how it works. Now, in addition to that, what you can do, I've come up with another prompt, which allows you to do this straight within ChatGPT. And I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. It's called Microsoft Quiz from ChatGPT. So now This is quite a long prompt, but I'm going to send it in. It's going to ask me for a topic in a minute. Yeah, what topic and target language would you like for the quiz? So I'm now going to use my voice to do this, using what's called a voice control for ChatGPT, which is a Chrome extension which works in ChatGPT in the paid version and the free version, and it allows you to use your voice. So let's go for it. So that's interesting. It's not working. Okay, I'll just type it in instead. Okay, so I'm going to put the environment, as that's what we were talking about, and A1 level English. All the answers should be in English. Okay, so as a result of me modeling to ChatGPT what I want, when I now send this in, what should happen is it should format the quiz in the correct format, which it's doing right now. Now, I've deliberately set this up so you can preview it beforehand. So if there's anything you're not happy about, you can just ask it to change that. But the important thing here is you've got the number, the question, the four possible answers, and then ANS : and then the correct answer. And ChatGPT can do that all for you. And as a result of that, when you are prompted to export this as a Word document, which it's going to do in a moment. There we are. Can you see? So it says, I need to say whether it's okay or not. I'm just going to write looks good. And now it'll turn this into a Microsoft Word document. So I can then download that and import that straight into Microsoft Forms, which will then allow me to convert it into a Microsoft quiz. So we'll just wait for this to finish. And then we'll be good to go. So it's just analyzing at the moment. And then it should give me the link to where I can download the Word document. And then from there, I can, there we are. I can then import it into Microsoft Quizzes. So I now click there, like that, to download the file. There we are. I then go into Forms. Again, click Quick Import. Upload from this device. I choose the Word document and I choose quiz, and then it will then convert it from Word into a Microsoft quiz. And here it is. So there we are. Can you see? And it's done it perfectly. So I've got the tick next to the correct answer. You need to go through and check this and then add 1 point per question. But that's a great way of saving time, generating a Microsoft quiz in a similar way as you can generate a Google quiz quickly and easily with Brisk Teaching. This prompt in ChatGPT allows you to create a Microsoft quiz as quickly. Okay, great. Let's go back to my presentation. And then the last thing we're going to have a look at is how we can use a tool called NotebookLM, which is from Google, for creating an audio summary. Okay, so this is the link which is here. This is what it looks like. So this is called NotebookLM. Again, a bit like with Suno, you need to be 18 plus to use this, but the audio you generate will work with your students. You can use it with your students, but they can't create their own accounts unless they're over 18. Okay, so what you would do is you click Try NotebookLM like this. This will then come up. These are the notebooks I've made recently. So you would click Create New like this. And then this is where you upload a source. So what I did earlier was I went to my presentation. And what I did was I came out of my presentation by doing this, exit slideshow. And then what I did was I clicked File, Download, and I chose the PDF option. So that was my source. But I've done this already, and I'm going to demonstrate how that works in a second. But essentially what I did was I clicked on Choose File, and I chose that PDF of the presentation. So this could be, for example, you could have a presentation, you generate a PDF of it, for example, and you use NotebookLM to turn it, you then use NotebookLM to turn it into an audio-based two-person conversation AI-produced podcast. Now, you can have up to 50 sources if you want to for your podcast, which can be taken from Google Drive, from links, from PDFs, etc. And as you can see, that's how that would work. Now, I've done this already for you, which I've got here. And I just want to give you a flavor of what this sounds like. So I'm just going to press play like this. You can see here as well, it's given a summary based on the PDF, and it's got my source here. So this source could be, for example, an exam spec that you are using, or whatever content you want. And therefore, NotebookLM, just showing you the right tab now, NotebookLM will be able to use those sources as a way of clarifying the context to generate the content that you're looking for. So now let's have a quick listen. You can see it's 12 minutes long. I'm not going to play you 12 minutes, but let's have a quick listen to the audio like this.
Right. So today we're going to do a deep dive into something super relevant to anyone out there learning English. And that is practical AI tools. And how those can benefit your learning journey when it comes to listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
Okay, so that gives you a quick insight. I'm now going to go into interactive mode, which is in beta, which means you can actually interrupt and you can actually have a conversation with the two podcasters like this. So we'll start playing again. Here we go. I press play and away we go.
All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into something super relevant to anyone out there learning English. And that is practical AI tools. And how those can benefit your learning journey when it comes to listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
Absolutely.
Now you might be thinking AI, oh, that's a little
Complicated.
Yeah.
Complicated. It can feel a little intimidating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But our goal here is to make it as accessible as possible.
I agree.
And to basically show you how these technologies can be used as shortcuts to making your learning more effective, more engaging,
Absolutely.
and maybe even a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
Now, this entire deep dive stems from some amazing insights shared by Joe Dale at BBELT 2025.
Wonderful presentation.
And it wasn't all just about the future. Oh, hey there, how can we help?
You mentioned Joe Dale. Can you tell me a little bit more about this person?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to.
Yeah, great question.
So Joe Dale is someone who presented at an event called BBELT 2025.
Exactly.
And he shared all of these insights about how AI can be used in English language teaching.
Yeah, he's an expert.
And we thought these insights were so practical.
Definitely.
And we just had to share them. Oh, back to our listener. What's up?
Fantastic. Can you mention a couple of the AI tools which Joe recommended?
Absolutely. Great follow-up question.
Yes, let's dive right into that.
Joe highlighted several really useful AI tools.
Exactly.
Two that come to mind immediately are Suno and Mizou.
Yes. Excellent examples to start with.
So you get the idea. So that's a bit crazy if you think about it. You can generate a podcast based on your own content, and then you can actually interact with it in real time like that. There we are. So let me go back to my presentation with a couple of minutes to go. So that was Google's NotebookLM. As I said, you need to be 18 plus to create an account and to use that, but you can use the audio with the students. You can also download the audio as well from NotebookLM, which is fantastic. So to conclude, what I've tried to do today is show everybody how you can use AI in very practical ways for promoting all four skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing, as well as some ideas around assessment, how to save time, how to streamline your workflow, and how you can use it from the student point of view to promote personalized learning and independent learning as well. I would really say it's very, very important that whenever you're using any AI tool, particularly with students, that you need to check the age restrictions in the privacy policy in the terms of service, and that you check everything for accuracy. That 80-20 rule I was talking about, keeping the human in the loop, that 20% is very important to check everything for bias, for accuracy, etc. And I would also encourage you to say to the students not to put in personal information into the large language model. That's really important as well. So I hope that you found this useful, and it's given you lots of ideas to have a play with. If you'd like to connect with me in different platforms, then you've got some contacts there. My email address. I've got a Facebook group called Language Teaching with AI. I've got my YouTube channel. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky as well. If you want to connect with me there, I'd love to hear from you. That would be amazing. And if you're interested, I recently did a 4-part webinar series called Language Teaching with AI, and it's possible to access that via an invoice. It's not free, but it's very reasonable, I think. And you get 6 hours of recordings going through lots of ideas similar to this, and how you can use AI, again, for all 4 skills of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So do check that out if you're interested. And here is the presentation. So if you want to get this Google Slides presentation, just scan the QR code or go to that short URL, bit.ly/BBELT 2025. And without further ado, I'm now going to stop the presentation. Thank you ever so much to the British Council for this opportunity, and I really hope that everyone has found this useful. And do get in touch if you'd like any more help or support, and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.